Shalom, Koholo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakadash, for blessing me with the spirit to do this lesson. and I seen this earlier today. I seen it I came across this story I believe 2 days or a day ago. And I wasn't thinking too much on it, but it came back across my path today. So I decided, you know, through the spirit to do something on it. And this is just more proof that you so called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you have no power here. You have no might, right? You can't protect yourself. You can only be put to death, right? You can't, protect your family. You can't protect your space. You pretty much have to let people step on all over you, unalive you, and you know, that be it, man. So here you had this a bunch of, well, I don't know if they were all Edomites, but you had this one Edomite for sure who was put to death by this Jake because they claim that they were doing the TikTok challenge at 3 in the morning. But this Jake, with his words, that they were trying to break in the house at 3 in the morning, which makes more sense. Why would somebody be doing a fucking TikTok challenge at 3 in the morning in the back of some person's, you know, house that they don't know? So long story short, Jake is in a bond right now, man. Pretty much they charging him with murder, and looking to put him away because it was a fucking Edomite kid. But if the tables would have been turned, if you would have had a so-called Negro doing a bunch of so-called Negroes doing the TikTok challenge in the back of a so-called white man's house at 3 in the morning, that Edomite could have unalived all of them Jakes, and he would have been known as a hero. They would have said it was self-defense. They would have said that he was just protecting his house. He was protecting his livelihood, right? So this is not just showing you that this system is corrupt, but as you can hear, and as you're gonna hear and see, that the mainstream media is here to just push a narrative, right? That the so-called black man is a terrorist. He's a killer. He's a thug. He's a criminal. And the so-called white man, no matter what he does, he's innocent, which is fucking off, man. And it gets you vexed, man, because you just had, going back to two instances, including this one, the one with the brother Carmelo Anthony unalived that Edomite for bullying him and attacking him, and he was protecting himself, and he unalived that devil. Now he's locked up. Well, he's out now, but they looking to put him under the jail. And then you had this other Jake who unalived this Edomite cop for the Edomite cop killing his son unarmed and unjustly, man. So you pretty much, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is why Yahweh Shem Shah is going to completely eradicate the nation of Edom, man. Because these people have no brain. They have no matter what they do, they feel like they're in the right to do, and they shouldn't be judged, especially by you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, because according to them, you're 3/5 of a human being, you're a slave, and you should never buck up. They should only be able to kill you. They should only be able to take from you. They should only be able to rob you. They should be the only ones that can inflict harm on you. Even while they inflicting harm on you, you can't fight back. This is the message that America is sending to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. This is why Yahweh Shem Yahushua said, return unto me, and I will fight for you, man. Because what the Lord is about to do to the nation of Edom, you can't even utter it or fathom it in your mind or out of your mouth, man. Right? And it's going to be a beautiful thing to see Esau Edom fall. Because this is what he deserves. Right? This is why King David hated Edomites. Right? This is why throughout history, our people have always hated Edomites, man. Because they are people of no counsel. They are people of just a reprobate mind, man. They can't think straight. They're corrupt. Right? They're crooked, as the scriptures say. So let's play it. I ranted enough. Yahweh Shem Yahushua willing to elect me edified. Shalom.
Media trend turned deadly after a Virginia high school student was shot and killed Saturday for doing a TikTok door knock prank. 27-year-old Tyler Chase Butler was charged Tuesday with killing 18-year-old high school senior Michael Bosworth Jr. So in order to prevent another tragedy like this, how can families talk to their children to make them think twice? Family therapist Tom Kirsting joins me now. Tom, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this. I mean, this is every...
When it's a white kid, they'll say children. When it's a black kid, they'll say criminal, thug. Right?
Parents' worst nightmare. This 18-year-old thinks he's doing something innocent and funny. He winds up dead, and now two parents are in mourning and will never be the same.
Yeah, it's so sad. I counsel, a lot of teenagers at my private practice, and I've had kids recently that tell me they do this. They go out and do the ding-dong ditch. But the real issue is with social media now, and especially young, vulnerable minds that are just trying to fit in. Kids, teenagers by nature like to do what everybody else does. They kind of follow the crowd, and it creates these trends.
And in translation, he's talking about so-called white kids, innocent, just want to follow the crowd, just want to follow the trend. I'm not talking about you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American kids, man.
And, unfortunately, these things can end in tragedy. So parents really need to sit down and have conversations, talk to your kid about this situation, about the potential consequences of doing actions that teenagers do.
Yeah. What more can parents say, though? A lot of times when you're a teenager, the last people you want to hear from are the adults in your life, like the parents and the teachers.
That's true. That's very true. So it's got to start young. We have to get back around the dinner table, with our children at a young age. Raise them the right way, raise them with values, have deep, meaningful conversations with them so that we prepare them when they reach adolescence, to be better decision makers.
Yeah, and also maybe raise them with self-confidence. I mean, build up your kids so that they don't follow the crowd and they feel like they can be their own individual.
I'm so glad you said that because I talk about that all the time. We hear anti-bullying, anti-this, anti-so-and-so. What if we teach pro-confidence? Now, a kid that is confident, truly confident, not an easy task, it becomes relatively immune, to have to do what everybody else does, getting involved with, doing drugs and things like of that nature, or drinking. But it's really, really an important thing. It's hard to drive that message, but we have to lead by example.
Yeah, and there are just so many of these challenges out there, these social media things. Like there's one called the Skull Breaker Challenge, the Blackout Challenge, where people were choking other kids to get them to pass out. The Benadryl Challenge, remember the Tide Pod thing? Oh, like every day it's something new. And that's part of the problem because it's hard for parents to keep up with it all.
Yeah, and the kids they're spending their lives in front of these devices. I'm doing a lecture later this morning, for high school students about, I've been talking about screen time, mental health for many years. And but interestingly, I remember being on here years ago talking about that Tide Pod challenge. I mean, think about that. Think about what a teenager that they're actually going to ingest something that can kill them.
I know, but that's the way of the world right now. So it's why it's so important to have discussions like this. Also,
a world that y'all created, man. A world that y'all created.
This incredibly disturbing news out of the FBI yesterday. They announced that they have arrested 205 people tied to this online predator network called 764. These are sick adults who befriend kids online and then persuade them to give them graphic porn, videos of them cutting themselves, hurting themselves, even committing suicide. Here is Attorney General Pam Bondi on this. Watch.
Parents need to monitor what your kids are doing on the internet. Your kids have no right to privacy on the internet. Children are getting recruited on the internet from being on games, social media, any kind of social media platform. They think they're talking to other children, and they're not. They're talking to monsters often.
It's hard to believe that something as sick as this exists, but it does.
That's the problem with the landscape of the wide open World Wide Web, right? And, when we're talking about monitoring, I'm a big advocate of preventing. Like we have to delay. I don't know if we need legislation or whatever, but it's difficult to monitor. We have to delay and try to prevent our kids, particularly before adolescence and going into adolescence, from having any form of access to this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you have this beautiful little baby and you can completely control everything that they're doing and you want what's best for them.
Yep.
And then you have to give them up to the world and just pray. So
Yeah.
Tom, thank you so much for joining us. There are things that
Thank you.
every parent though can do to hopefully achieve that
Gotta be
great
there for our
success. You
kids.
got to be there. That's right. Tom, thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
So, pretty much they were saying a bunch of nothing. Here it is. You created this world and this type of activity throughout this country. But yet, now you're trying to sit your kids down at the dinner table. Well, your kids are the ones going to school, shooting them up, shooting other kids and being depressed, but you'll never bring that out, man. You'll push the narrative on the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American kids, man. Right? Which this is what this devil does. Because he's nothing but a liar, man. And you can't trust him. Right? But the Jake, now he's going to jail, and they're trying to charge him with a second-degree murder. Right? But like I said, if it would have been the other way around, that Edomite would have got off scot-free. He would have said he was just protecting himself. Right? This is let's get Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 4. It says, therefore the Lord slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. Right? Because the law is slack, man. The law is pushed for one people, but not the other. Same crime, same age, same crime, same neighborhood, two different outcomes, man. It says, therefore the Lord slack, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. And who's the wicked? Esau, Edom. And who's the righteous? The nation of Israel. Therefore, wrong judgment proceedeth, man. That man wasn't supposed to be charged. These kids, 3 a.m. in his back door, coming in his back door. He don't know what the hell they was trying to do. He don't know if it was a grown man or what. All he knows is somebody was trying to break in his house. He had the right to shoot whoever, man. And the brother probably got a license to carry or whatever. Probably got a license for his gun or whatever. But that don't even work, man. You got to use pretty much the weapons that you get, that they allow you to get, you got to use them on your people. Right? If it's a so-called black man using his licensed weapon on a so-called white man, that don't fly. But a so-called white man can use his licensed weapon on a so-called black man. It'll be justified. Right? Which is all bullshit, man. The laws is fucked up. They all bullshit. Right? This is why the Lord's going to get rid of everything, man. And he's going to start fresh with his people, the nation of Israel. And Esau, Edom, he's not going to be in rulership at all. He's going to be a slave. And then after that, his ass is going to be, burnt out of the earth, man. Let's get this one.
New details on a tragic story out of Spotsylvania County. A high schooler is shot and killed during what may have been a social media prank gone wrong. Thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Thuman. That shooting happened during what was first reported as an attempted home burglary this weekend in Spotsylvania County. 7 News' Christian Flores has new details now and spoke with the teen's classmate.
What was supposed to be a celebration ahead of graduation has instead turned into a somber event. Tuesday night's senior sunset here at Massaponax High School has become a place where students come to grieve after the loss of one of their classmates during this weekend shooting. And now we have court documents that paint a clearer picture of what might have happened.
It's been very emotional, honestly, because, you know, we graduate next week.
Massaponax High School seniors heartbroken after their classmate, 18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr., was shot and killed on Saturday.
He was a very passionate person about stuff, you know, and just sad that he had to go the way he did.
One juvenile was not hurt, but another teenager was shot and survived, who's close friends with Kamani Keys.
I went to the hospital that morning, actually, because, like, when I heard, like, one of my closer friends got shot.
Spotsylvania County Sheriff's deputies arrested 27-year-old Tyler Chase Butler, charging him with second-degree murder, among other charges. Detectives say the initial 911 call was for an attempted home burglary that ended with Butler, who lives in the home, opening fire.
The gunshot went to the chest. So I'm back to the scene for an additional subject. A gunshot went to
7 News on your side obtained the search warrant for the cell phones of the 2 surviving juveniles. They told police they were playing a prank called Ding Dong Ditch, where they ring doorbells and run away. According to court documents, they said they had done this to a few homes, were filming themselves, and planning to post this on TikTok as part of a social media trend.
It's been very rough.
Why are you doing that? See, you can't play these stupid ass pranks. You know, you got all these pranks going on, different pranks, and people ain't into those fucking pranks, man. So you ain't supposed to be playing a prank at just anybody's house, man. Do that shit among yourself. Why you going to other people's houses? You don't know what people doing. You don't know what type of spirit people got on them. But that was clearly their fault. You know? But Jake, you know, for somebody else's fault, he got to pay for it. You know? But it is what it is. This is the future of Esau Edom, man. You know, being put off the earth, man. Going back to the spirit world. Right? And Jake just don't get no rest here, man. Everywhere you turn, Jake is in something, man. Right? Jake can't protect himself. Jake can't protect his family. Jake just got to lay down and die. That's it. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 32. Deuteronomy 28 and 32. It says, thy sons and daughters shall be given unto another people, and that people is Esau Edom. Right? When we came over here on the slave ships, this who he was given to, man. It says, and thine eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Jake ain't got no might in his hand. Jake don't have no power behind him to protect him when he do things. He's pretty much, you know, what's the word? Vulnerable. He's pretty much vulnerable to the system, man. They can pretty much do whatever they want to him, swing him whatever kind of way, and he just got to take it, man. And you seeing that, man. Do them the three that I just mentioned. This one, the one with the brother, what's his name? Rodney Hinton and Carmelo Anthony, man. Those 3 right here, those 3 right there shows you that Jake don't have no might in his hand. Right? Verse 65. It said, and among these nations, right, that you shall be given to, it says, thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, right? But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, man. Right? You're going to be oppressed. You're going to be oppressed, man. That's what you got coming to you, Jake. But Esau Edom, you're not going to get away with nothing, man. Because the Lord got it out for you too. The Lord is judging his people, but he's saving the best for last. Right? He's saving the best for last. Because what? All the lies, the corruptness, all of these things, you're going to have to pay for that, man. Let's get Colossians, right? Chapter 3, verse 25. But he that doeth wrong, and Esau has done the most wrong on the planet, man. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of person. Right? So Lord ain't exempting nobody. Nobody's exempt, especially Esau Edom, man. He's the number one, target on the Most High's hit list, man. Right? Let's read it again. Colossians 3:25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he have done. And you're going to receive double for the wrong that you have done, Esau Edom. Just said the Holy Bible, man. Let's get 2 Maccabees, chapter 1. 2 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 26. And it reads, it says, receive the sacrifice for thy whole people Israel, and preserve thine own portion and sanctify it. And who's that portion? The elect, right? Ultimately, the whole nation of Israel is going to be saved and, come back in the kingdom. But on this side is the elect. Verse 27, gather those together that are scattered from us, deliver them that serve among the heathen. Look upon them that are despised and abhorred, meaning Esau Edom. They are despised and abhorred, meaning hated by the Lord. It tells you that in Malachi, 1, verse 1, it says, and let the heathen know that thou art our power. And the heathen are about to find out that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is only the power of the Israelites, man. Right? Verse 28, it says, punish them that oppress us. Right? That's what's coming. It says, and with pride do us wrong, because Esau does this all in pride, man. Right? Yeah, I got them. I'm gonna do what I want to them. They my people, right? They my slaves. I'm gonna do what I want to them in pride. So the Lord's gonna revenge that pride, man. He's going to revenge the pride of you so-called white people, man. Right? Verse 29, it says, plant thy people again in the holy place as Moses have spoken, man. And that's where we going. Right? Jerusalem. That's where we going, man. We going there. Right? And Esau Edom is the one that you see when the judgment proceedeth, man. Right? On this earth. Right? Esau Edom is the one you see. This is James chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, heathen, Salakia, hearken, my beloved brethren. Have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith? And who's that? The Israelites, the saints. It says, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him. Right? And that's Israelites. But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? And don't rich men oppress you? Esau Edom, he's the rich on the earth, right? He's gotten the fatness of the earth. Esau Edom has gotten it. So, he's the one that oppresses you. Let's get one more. We're going to shut it down, man. This is Sirach chapter 41. Sirach chapter 41 and verse 5. It says, the children of sinners are abominable children. And this is talking about the nation of Edom. They are abominable children. And they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly, the inheritance of sinners, children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. The Lord's about to pretty much put the blood all through their nation, man. Put blood all through their nation. It says, the children will complain of an ungodly father, right? Because right now, you got some Edomites that's complaining. They don't want to be Edomites, man. They saying that they hate their own people, man. Right? They're ashamed of what their forefathers did. You got Edomites that say that. Who knows if they're sincere on it? But you do got them that say that. It said the children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake. Yeah, because they're about to pick up the tab. It tells you that in Isaiah 14. That the children is going to be slaughtered, for what their forefathers did. Verse 8, woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High Power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. For if ye increase, it shall be to your destruction. And Esau, Edom, all the talks that he have, in the news or whatever, he's looking for the increase, right? He's looking to be increased with Trump, with the tariffs and the trades, and they keep speaking good and proud things about America, how America is going to be back to the golden age and shit like that. The Lord said, it shall be to your destruction. So just like you read 1 Thessalonians 5, it said, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Verse 9, it says, and if ye be born, these Edomites, ye shall be born unto a curse. And if ye die, the curse shall be your portion. So you're going to get paid. Even if you die on this side, you coming back. And you're going to be in the cotton field, boy. Verse 10, all of the earth shall turn to the earth again, so the ungodly shall go from a curse to destruction. And that's the future of Esau Edom, man. That's the future. So live it up. Live it up, devil. Oppress the poor, right? Try to make Jake the face of terror and ridicule and all that, man. But we know the deal, man. We know what's the real deal. And you devils, you already being exposed and found out. But the scriptures do tell you that this devil gonna come down with great wrath because he know that his time is up, man. So, hey, I'm gonna leave it there. Yahweh Shem Yahushua willing, the elect the other Father. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakadash, for blessing me with the spirit to do this lesson. Hey, man, we ain't got too much longer here, man, to deal with these devils, man. Just keep the faith and stand strong in Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. To the next lesson, Shalom.